Well, there is always people coming and going in Summer Bay, but for Home and Away newbie Jessica Redmayne, it seems her character Harper is feeling right at home.
I don't want a cup of tea, I said.
It's not for you.
Well, who's it for?
Irene, is it all right if I do a half load of laundry? I've run out of clean clothes.
Yeah, help yourself, love. John, you've met my housemate, haven't you? Harper?
Yeah.
Hello again.
Well, away from the Bay, Jessica is working hard in real life to raise awareness for a really special cause. The young star's mum, Tina, was diagnosed with dementia in 2014 and she hopes her family story will inspire you at home. And Jessica Redmayne joins us now. Jess, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Your character, Harper, fairly new in Summer Bay. This gig must have been in so many ways a real dream kind of materialised for you.
Yeah, very much so. I think as an actor you always want to have a job that's kind of, you know, gives you longevity, and this kind of job on Home and Away, it's rare, I think, in this country to work as an actor, so it's really, I'm honoured to be a part of it.
Yeah, great. We know Home and Away has some huge fans. How are you finding it out and about? Are you getting recognised now more? Are fans asking for selfies?
A little bit. I've only been on air about 5 or 6 weeks, I think, but yeah,
Are you starting to notice, though?
Yeah. It is interesting when you have to remember on the street that you are someone else on TV, so yeah, it's fun.
You're here to tell us about your life outside of Summer Bay as well. You've been named an ambassador for Dementia Australia. It's just incredible that you're kind of finding the courage to share your story. Can you tell us a little bit about your mum?
Yeah, so my mum, as you said, she was diagnosed with younger onset dementia in 2014, but she showed symptoms many years earlier, so probably when I was roughly 17 or 18, and then she was finally diagnosed. But I've often described to people that it's kind of like a toddler going through milestones, that dementia is like going backwards in that scenario, that you start to forget how to get dressed and use cutlery and things like that, and we noticed that in her, and personality changes. Yeah.
And you mentioned early on, so how young was your mum? I was going to say how old was your mum, but how young was your mum when she was diagnosed?
Yeah, so she was diagnosed at 61, but she started to show symptoms at around 55.
Right. And how did, that's very sad for her, how did it impact you, Jess?
It was difficult, but in the face of adversity, you just kind of do what you have to do to help them, you know, and so I kind of along the way would learn how to better adapt to her, and to be honest, sometimes you would tell little white lies to make it easier, because she would often ask for her own mum or ask to go home when she already was home and things like that, and that's quite normal in a dementia case like that.
Yeah.
And Jess, is it the case that your mum doesn't recognise you as her daughter anymore?
Yeah, that's right. So she doesn't really, she doesn't recognise anyone anymore. So it's probably been about 4 or 5 years since she's really known who I am. But you just kind of get used to it, and you still care for her. She's still my mum, so...
Absolutely. TV can be a great friend to people with dementia. Did your mum make a connection between... Does she watch Home and Away? Has she been able to make some sort of connection?
Yeah, unfortunately, quite early, she lost the concept of the difference between TV and real life. Yeah. And so back when I did 800 Words about 6 years ago, when that aired, she didn't really grasp or understand that I was on TV, unfortunately. But I know that she knows that I'm pursuing, because she always encouraged me to pursue my dreams, so that's nice. Yeah.
And as an ambassador for Dementia Australia, what is it that you're hoping people will know about just how challenging this is?
It's really about creating a friendly environment and creating a dementia-friendly community, because I think that dementia can be quite invisible as a disease. I would often take my mum to the disabled toilets and I'd feel uncomfortable doing that, because she wasn't old and she didn't look like anything was wrong, but she didn't know how to go to the bathroom by herself anymore. So I think it's just sort of being aware and having respect, and just sort of having that broader awareness of people, and being kind, and just knowing that if someone looks like something's wrong, then perhaps something is wrong.
Yeah. And to reach out, and there's lots of resources available through Dementia Australia.
Yeah.
So that's a really good place to start if you have a loved one going through some difficulties. Really nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story, but also we're loving to see you on the telly as well.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.